Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to give you a short flow that you can do if you are feeling a little bit cooped up and a little bit too computery in your head. I know we're on the computer now, but a way to get into your body, access it a little bit, just enough to deepen the breath and let go if you're feeling a little bit like you started to clench or disappear into something. So it's going to be quite short. Do, as always, take care of yourself. Let yourself really measure any deep stretches, come out of them, and maybe even just take breaths in child's pose or on your back if you're not sure or something doesn't feel quite right. When in doubt, rest. Okay, so we're going to start off cross legs. And you might take a cushion under your bum if there's some unevenness there. For some people, cross legs is quite a hard position in itself. We need quite open hips for that. When you're ready, set yourself up, take a little shimmy out. And we're just going to start with the breath. So whatever we're doing, whatever we're disappearing into, whatever is kind of getting on top of us, we're going to sort of let that slide away. So the hands are just going to rest on the knees. I want you to imagine that slide starts off with a deep breath in. And then pause off with a deep breath out, sliding your shoulders down from the ears. And imagine that sort of starting to come off you, anything that's feeling a little bit trapped. And then we'll breathe in again. Find a little rise from your lower back to your crown. And then exhale, really soften the shoulders down and away from the ears. So for now, we're just breathing in and out of the nose and not forcing any particular patterns, just deepening. And then I just want you to feel out if there's anything in the face that we might be holding on to from our night's sleep or from our work. Any little tight muscles that we can smooth out and soften, particularly the jaw and that space between the eyebrows. We'll start to take the left hand to the upper chest and then the right hand on top of that. Tip the head towards the chest, and just for 3 or 4 breaths, just like you to let time pass. Just let it kind of walk by. So that is our practice. It's easy to practice action sometimes, but a little harder to practice stillness. And if you do feel any little fidget within yourself, don't worry about it too much. That's so often there. But we're going to just see if we can let go of that and just imagine a way to be without a to-do list in front of us. Full breath in, starting to bring your palms one to the other. Prayer position. Let's take that towards the third eye point and just wake up that third eye point with a rinse of those thumb knuckles. So the thumb knuckles are just going to draw a little circle there. It's just going to massage out any tightness and just allow us to almost wake up that third eye, wake up our intuition, our intention. So as we take a couple more nice deep rinses, also feels just really nice. You might just keep those eyes really soft and closed and just listen to yourself. So you're coming from outer sounds to inner sounds. So we may hear birds or traffic or whatever's going on just outside. But gently see if you can bring your attention to the sound of your own breath. Last deep breath. Exhale, start to bring that palm position towards your chest, roll the shoulders back and down. Okay. Inhale, we're going to start to take your left hand outside your left hip. Rise your right arm, palm face up. Feel that right hip drawing down as you lift out of it with that arm. So it doesn't have to be much. We can take it upwards rather than over. And if you are feeling in the mood to take a bit more space through the flanks, through the ribs, you can come over a little bit, maybe bend into the elbow slightly. And just set your shoulders really softly apart. Bringing your breath into the body here, maybe the eyes close. Inhale. Exhale. Okay. And just ask yourself for the next breath or two, what does it feel like this side of the body? Our curiosity towards ourselves is what helps us to thread into that connection. We're just going to ask ourselves how that really feels. What's our body feel like today? Inhale, rise the arm, and just take a little bit of space away from you with that right hand. So we're just going to start to move space into the crown. So your eyes and nose are going to turn down towards that left knee. It doesn't have to be big. We're just sort of starting to find a position between the fingertips behind you and your crown. Big breath in. Big breath out. You might be slightly pulling that hand away, but you might make a little circle here so you can feel where you connect to the shoulder and to the neck muscle. Big breath in, big breath out. Inhale, start to push from the ground to bring yourself up. I'm going to take that right hand all the way across the chest. Catch it in with the other hand, and maybe just take a little squeeze above the elbow to come into that space around the scapula. So I find the stretch kind of rings a little bit clearer if we flex that wrist. Maybe even draw the crown of the head slightly away. Big breath in. Big breath out. Inhale, we're going to release that. Take that in front and just collect the knees to change over. So if you can remember which foot came under which, this one might feel like the odd way to you. One side usually feels a bit more natural. And if you try and keep ourselves really balanced. Right hand outside the right hip. Inhale, take up those left fingertips and just rise out of the hip here. So you're finding length before you find that space into a side stretch. It doesn't have to be much. You cannot always come down a bit further. You could even land the elbow, but just listen to what your body has to say about it. So try and keep an element of softness. Shoulder blades nice and wide, maybe closing the eyes. I'm feeling all that space for breath now through that side of the ribs. Just trying to breathe in and out through the nose, feed the energy back into the body. Okay. Inhale, we're going to rise that left hand and just take it away from you. So your eyes are just looking towards that right knee. The crown is finding its opposite line with your hand behind you. And then you might try to tune into that radio station with a little circle. So you might find where it rings. Or you might just settle in, just reach the fingertips away, scoop a little space into the shoulder. So we're not trying to force or make anything jagged here. Just sort of reaching, soft line. Let's take another breath here. And then start to push with your right hand to come up. So we're releasing that shoulder from stretch. Come into that deep scapular stretch here, catching the upper arm. And then again, you could explore. For you, it might be slightly different. You might want to wriggle the fingers, find a bit of space through a flex, or just relax the hand, whatever feels kind of nice to you. Get that nice upper arm stretch, scapular stretch. Maybe the crown leans away from the shoulder. Big breath in, big breath out. Good, so as if that release of this left arm just causes us to sort of spiral around, we're going to take your right hand to your left knee and take a tall twist. So don't worry about coming too far. Come through to around 90 degrees to your side. Fingertips behind you on that left hand are tall to give us a bit of height on the lower back. Big breath in, keep yourself rising, find a bit more turn in the mid-body. Exhale, let's come around to center and release to the other side. Again, fingertips tall behind us, keeping us from sinking in your back. Almost tuck the shoulder blade behind you, draw the shoulders down from the ears, take another big breath in and a big breath out. Inhale, come center. We're going to take those knees up in front of us and step the feet at hips distance apart. So this is a really nice version of cat-cow for anybody that doesn't really enjoy sitting on crossed legs too long or on the knees too long. So feet in line with the hips. Inhale, we're going to rise your heart and imagine kind of pulling and scooping that bit of extra length in the lower back. As we exhale, we're going to round it out. And really find any little crinkles in those shoulder blades. There are quite a few for me here. Inhale, feel like you could rise the heart up out of the knee. And then exhale, round it out. Okay. I'm going to take 2 or 3 more and feel like a little ripple coming into the body. So you exhale, we kind of release a little low, mid, back, and then shoulders. And then we rise, we find a little sit in belly button, chest, chin, and then exhale, a little roll back. Good. And then again, let's pull that up. Belly button, chest, chin, and then exhale, round. Good. As we inhale, come and sit really nice and tall, set the shoulders really nice and softly apart. I'm just going to take the hands behind us, fingertips facing the knees. Might feel quite a nice wrist stretch already. And we're just going to take both knees to circle to your left. And then paint that semicircle to the right. I'm just going to take a couple more. I want you to feel like you can massage your glutes for the first couple of movements. Get that really nice bum massage, especially if we've been working our glutes hard, cycling or whatever. And then for the next couple of movements, kind of focusing on the twist and the feeling in the shoulder blades as you move. There might be quite a nice small drag of space through the shoulders and a rinse out of the hips. As we inhale, we're going to come and sit tall, cross the feet underneath us, or indeed around to the side if you need. We're going to find our way into tabletop. Good. So we're going to take that right hand away from you, setting your knees really equally underneath your hips. We're just going to release the left hand and find a little thread the needle. You might be coming onto the shoulder slightly, maybe even the back of the head slightly. Don't go too far and don't bring too much weight there. Use your right hand to support. Big breath in and out. Inhale, let's bring that up. Replace. Bring that left hand to the ground. Find a bit of space underneath. Inhale, bring your right arm under and see if you can find the back of the shoulder blade slightly, maybe the back of the head. And take a big breath in and out. Inhale, come center. Bring your hands directly underneath your shoulders. And just take one arch and round. So take an inhale, drink in a breath, bring your belly button down. And then as you exhale, round it out and bring your head towards your chest. As you hold this rounding space, this Halloween cat if you like, just take a small shimmy side to side, really little. And then sort of let it come into your arch as you let your belly sort of drop. Good. So we're going to start to take a really neutral spine here, allowing your shoulders to kind of open and protract. And then we're going to take your left foot to the back of the mat. And I want you to find your calf muscle. You might be pressing as equally as you can into the hands here so that you don't sink or swerve in the shoulders. And we might take a little rinse forwards and back in that calf. Okay. You're going to take your right shin as it is, just lying along the ground, to shift just a couple of inches towards your right. It might end up just off your mat. Left heel is going to come down, taking weight into your right hand. We're going to bring up that left arm and bring it again, opposition away from your back foot. Okay, we want strength in the arms. If you're dealing with anything in the wrists or hips here today. You might stay on your cat's pose with that leg extended in calf stretch. And we're going to rinse a little wriggle through the fingers, take a big breath in, and then just circle the arm. So you might actually just be expressing a bit of movement, a sort of in-between space that your body really wants to find. And that might involve coming the other way, or hand to the shoulder, whatever really feels good for you. Good. As we take another breath, we're going to take those fingertips overhead. Option is to stay here, especially if you're dealing with anything in the knees. But if you want to come with me, we're coming into just an extension of that left foot up. So we're actually engaging the core now and finding opposition in a different way, from the heel to the fingertips in balance. Good. Inhale, 2 more breaths, trying to be as present as we can in the body and not rush ourselves. When you're ready, we're just going to kick that left heel towards the bum. Good. So just option 1, hover. Option 2, you might take the last 2 breaths hanging onto that left foot behind you, squeezing a bit of space into the shoulder blades, through the shoulder blades into the chest. So the shoulder blades might come together slightly, looking towards the ceiling. Exhale, let's release. Come back through the various stages. Take a break in your child's pose, sending the knees a little bit wide of your hips, so we get a nice little rock into those sit bones. You can send your forehead towards the mat, or take one hand on top of the other here and just rest your forehead. Even in the early morning, there's activity. Let's breathe and just take a moment here with a nice long spine, long through the neck. Inhaling, we're going to start to make our way up. Find your way to your tabletop. Good. So as we did before, we're going to tuck that right toe behind you. Find a bit of your calf muscle pressing into nice wide and equal shoulders. And then as we inhale, we're just going to swerve the left foot slightly out towards the outer edge of the mat. Turn your right heel down, start to engage the left shoulder and bring your right arm up and out of the hip. So we find that opposition line. And we're strengthening here. Big breath in, big breath out. So options are, we can take that nice big rinse of the shoulder. And that might even come a little bit behind you. Just feel it out. Free movement is my favorite thing. Sometimes the body just wants to find something that isn't in your ordinary pattern of movement. I want to just move through it here. Whenever you're ready, we'll reach the fingertips away from the toes. And if you're coming with me and the hand and the hip feel okay, we're taking a lift into floating right foot and right hand. Good. Creating that little bit of core strength, almost that little bit of a sort of resonance, almost a tension through the body to find that opposing line. Last 2 breaths here, you might kick the right heel towards the bum, stay there. Or we might add in a little bit of a connection here, right hand to the right foot, almost bring the shoulders slightly together to pronounce the heart. Find a bit of hip space. Try not to put any pressure on the neck, take another breath. And then come back through each stage, landing in a nice careful alignment. Let's send our hips back, take a moment on child's pose. Again, one hand could be on top of the other as you prefer. So last couple of breaths in your child's pose, either rinsing the hips or just letting yourself be still. As you find that stillness, just again let time pass. Feel the back of the eyeballs, feel that inner space. Child's pose is a wonderful place to kind of just make that connection a little bit more visible to you. Head tip towards the heart. When you're ready, we're inhaling and coming up. We're going to take ourselves hands in front, and then we're just going to flip the hands face up, fingertips facing in. So we're sitting back on the heels slightly. So we're like a little frog. I'm just going to look at a little wrist stretch here. Press down, breathe in and out. On your next breath out, we're going to throw that out of the mouth. Stick the tongue out. Big breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Release your hands. You might even take a little wrist and finger stretch here. Just kind of palming like a contented cat. Okay. Inhale, we're going to bring the knees in so we can sit on the feet in thunderbolt. So bringing the hands together, start to feed the elbow tips together and allow yourself that little bit of activity through your forearms. So if there's anything tense or injured going on through the shoulders, just make this a little bit more relaxed, or just come palms to chest. I'm going to inhale here and exhale here. Take another full breath in and out. And then we're going to interlace the fingers. We need to feel that really nice release as you open up the elbows softly. Press the palms forward. Stretch the fingers, rise up. And then exhale, bring the hands together behind you. So we're going to go to interlace fingers here. Which means our shoulders might squeeze together, the heart might open up. If that's a little tight today, maybe the hands just come to the elbows. Just really select what's right for you. Inhaling to lift up the chest, and then exhaling to peel down. Maybe meeting the ground with the forehead just for a moment, rising the hands. Exhale, release those hands. We're going to send them forwards. Inhale, rise up to your tabletop. Hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Really find those 4 table legs. Tuck the toes. Inhale, we're going to push the ground away from us. Rise that tailbone. Find your down dog first as a movement. So let yourself wriggle. Let yourself get out any little kinks. Maybe the hips move a little bit side to side, or heels can come one down and then the other, like a slow motion run. Make sure that your shoulders feel quite open and energetic, so you're wrapping out the upper arms. And then we're going to spread the palms, use the knuckles, fingertips, and feel your mid and low back stretching as we drop the head between the arms. Okay, when we take one more breath here, take a little wriggle more, bring your attention into your breathing as we settle in. So we're going to rise up to the tiptoes. Inhale, drop the head. As you exhale, I'd like you to imagine your heels coming down as your bum rises. So again, we have opposition. So we're finding that slowly, and we'll take 3 breaths more. Excuse my sinuses today. Big breath in, big breath out, and last one. Okay, inhale, starting to look towards your hands. I'm going to bring the knees down, switch the feet underneath you, and come back to sitting pose. I'm going to shift the hips in towards the middle of your mat and set your feet at hips distance again. Exhale, we're going to let those hands come in front of us. Use your core on your way down. Land every vertebrae. As you land, take your shoulder blades really nice and wide. You can almost bring your feet underneath the knees, then lift your hips. And make sure they're kind of tucked under. Your tailbone is tucked under. It's got a really nice long spine as you rest the low back. Good. If you're dealing with anything in the lower back today and you want to keep a little bit of heaviness over the tailbone, we're going to wiggle the feet a little wide for our Shavasana. So a little bit wider than your hips with your feet position, knees still pointing up, and then just bring the knees together like a little steeple. Feel the extra weight on the tailbone there as the hands come either side of you. If you want to come into your full Shavasana, take a moment to bring the knees towards your chest. Give yourself a little squeeze on the shin bones. And then let yourself draw out gently and all the way to your full Shavasana. Feet may be a little soft and wide of the hips and hands either side of your hips. Sure the chin is slightly tucked towards the chest rather than your chin lifting. To look above you and spread the shoulders nice and wide. You're going to take around 5 or 6 deep breaths here, letting yourself really surrender. Feel the weight of the floor. Very gently, just starting to make our way into awareness again. So we're staying where we are on the floor. As we make our way back to awareness, I want you to imagine you could deepen the sense of release, deepen the effortlessness of your body. So you can feel each muscle one by one, everything from the crown to the face, chest and hands. Everything's softening and just letting go of effort. And if you can feel yourself maybe holding that 1% of tension, see if you can just let it go. Moving our mind to release. Nice soft belly. Soft hip bones along the ground. Quads. Backs of the calves. Ankles, soles of the feet. Tips of the toes. As we move deeper into that relaxation, we're going to start to breathe through it. So our breath becomes the energetic aspect of our body. Big breath in. And big breath out. Effortless through the body. Energy drawing in through your inhale breath. Exhale. We'll take the last two. Your exhale can be an inner breath, or we can release it from the mouth. We inhale. Sigh now. And then we might take one more with a little more theatre. Big breath in. You're ready, wiggle your fingers and your toes. Let your belly rumble. Inhale, we're going to bring the arms up above us. Stretch out really nice and long. And then just flop the arms either side of your hips. Softly bring up the knees. Give yourself a squeeze and then let's fold over towards your left. I'm going to come up slowly. You might even keep the eyes closed. Sometimes that's just our way of keeping that connection going a little longer. Good, find your way to cross legs. Take a moment, prayer towards the chest. Thumbs feeling out your heartbeat. Tall. And letting yourself feel that moment of breath to honor yourself. Feeling in your present body just that little bit more, hopefully. Good, inhale. Exhale to bow to yourself. roses softly out into your room. Namaste.